everybody here today. We're at Sunshine Bromeliads with owner Roly, and Roly's been kind enough to allow us to walk through his operation, and we get to talk about a lot of stuff. Bromeliads for the sun, bromeliads for the shade. We're going to look at how they plant the bromeliads. We're going to talk to you about how to take the pups off of the mother plant and a lot of other interesting stuff. So come on, enjoy the trip.
How you doing, John?
Hi, Roly. Nice to meet you.
Thank you for being here.
We appreciate you allowing us to look at your facility. You know, I've been a customer of yours for a long time.
Many years.
And I love everything about your operation. So we're here, and let's walk and take a look at some bromeliads.
All right, let's do it. Let me show you some
So look at the color that we are now experiencing here. These are the bromeliads that we call shade bromeliads. Some of them I'm going to talk about part shade. Roly's going to explain to us, because I always try to explain to people that when we say part shade or part sun, we don't mean half of a day. This means early morning sun, late afternoon sun, because boy, we put these out and they will all burn. And so don't try to put the sun to sleep and say it doesn't work for us. And you know, maybe this will work.
Yeah.
Make sure we watch our locations of planting and determine how much sun they get.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, John, because I get that mistake a lot. A lot of my customers come in and they see partial sun and they think it's 50% sun and shade, 50% sun, and that's not the case. Here in South Florida, especially during the summer months that are brutal, you got to be careful. Partial sun is the morning sun, coming around to around 11, 11:30. Then after that, they need to be filtered light, like underneath a palm tree, some type of canopy. That's the definition of partial sun, at least for the bromeliad varieties.
And let's also talk, because the sun moves towards the equator, in wintertime, and comes back until the summer equinox, which is June 21st. That sun gets more intense. We start getting into April, May, June. What a great time of year to plant sun bromeliads, because we'll show you how they're grown still under a shade cloth, but only allowing 50% of the light or 30% of the light to be blocked out and 70% of the sun to hit them. So as we get to those areas, we'll talk. But boy, what a wonderful, wonderful opportunity to provide color for us. There are different sizes of them and different shapes. And they all flower, most of them, and most of them provide pups for us, which are babies. So let's continue our talk. And Roly, go ahead and start explaining some of these to us, because these are. Can we start with the
Guzmanias?
Crypthanthus?
Oh, the Crypthanthus, Elaine?
Yeah.
This is more of a collector plant. It's a novelty plant. It's obviously some incredible cool foliage. This is a plant that does like shade.
Right.
So you want to make sure you put it in a shady condition all day. Even partial sun, it'll start turning yellow. It won't be this vibrant pink. So this is more of a novelty item.
Come by my house. This is by my front door. I love this plant. That's why I wanted you to talk about it.
It's a great one. I mean, you got something like this. This is more common. You see this at a lot of the big box stores. This is called the Guzmania. They use this a lot for like interior scaping at like hotels, because it also likes a lot of shade. Very soft. The good thing about it is spineless, which a lot of bromeliads have spines. This species, this genus does not.
Tell me about how long does the color last?
So then once it blooms, you'll probably have this bloom, John, probably for like around 3 months.
That's right.
And then later on, it'll start turning brown. So what you do at that stage, so it won't look so ugly, you just go ahead and cut off the bloom.
Right.
But then it'll start giving you pups. As you can see right here, I don't know if you want to focus in. You see it has actually 2 babies that are coming out right there, right here, and right here. So then the process of that is, the bromelia blooms once in its lifetime, but then these pups will come out, regrow, and then rebloom. So the cool thing about this is you might have a double bloom going on as this starts to clump up.
Perfect. And as Roly just told us, they get one bloom, and then then the mother plant goes away. And it takes a while. It's not immediate, but it takes a while as she declines and the pups or the children grow. So yeah, we always are doing something interesting, and it's fun. It's great to have in the garden. And some of these produce, and we'll get over to you know, the fireballs and those kind of thing. The ground we call ground cover, or I call ground cover bromeliads. They throw out pups everywhere, and sometimes they will take over an area. So you put them in an area where we have that mindset of that's what we want them to do.
Yeah, yeah. There's some varieties that are more prolific,
right,
puppers, the babies, than others. So
right.
yeah, you want to make sure if you want a nice simple design, you don't want to have overgrowth. If you want like the ground, you know, the ground cover, the fireballs, the dongers, those varieties, they definitely will you know, produce a lot.
Absolutely,
yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
I love them, and just the colors are so amazing for me. I just can't get enough of these. This is one of my favorite. When people come to me and they say, John, what do we plant? What can I plant that provides color? But oh, by the way, I just want low maintenance. Oh man, this is it right here. This is low maintenance, very little fertilization, and we'll talk about that later when we get over to the pup house. But very little fertilization, and because if we over fertilize, the color fades away and it gets light. Yeah. If not, you know, we can keep the plant nice and healthy with just a diluted version of that, or granular type fertilization.
Yeah. Now, if I can make a point, now as far as the different types of genuses, the one that's the more popular one is this one, the Neoregelia genus.
Right.
As you can see, because that's the genus that provides so much color. I mean, you see, look at the color on that. This one's called Puppy Love. Great name. So it gives you great color. So usually these are the ones you see in the big box stores because, you know, the color it provides.
And I want you to also notice what this sign says: partial sun, no sun after 11, and the fuchsia color, of course, in the center. So when you come to Sunshine Bromeliads, you're gonna see the sign that's gonna point that out to you. And again, don't try to fool the shade. You know, we can't make shade happen because we're thinking it through. So just really look. Is there sun after 11? Don't plant it. That's simple.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
We get into here. This is the Raphael's, another big one that we use a lot. Gives us a nice.
This is a popular one. A lot of landscape architects use it in the commercial jobs in their design. So this is a real popular. It's a good seller. As you can see, I grow a whole bunch of them. You know, because they're in high demand. See, John, the great thing, as you know, in the Bromelia family, you know, you got all these different colors. You know, we have, you know, you have the reds, you have purples, you have pinks. I mean, we have the reds, which is one that's called Magali, which we'll show you, very popular during Christmas time. So it's so many different colors, and then you have color with variegation in the leaf. You know, you have some, you know, with variegation we mean is green on the outside, white on the inside. It's a variegated. There's also something called albo marginated, which is green on the inside and white. So basically the reverse of this, just so you know the difference between the variegations for the bromeliads.
And then we get into this type of color, which is for me the either darker reds, deep reds, or purples, you know, is what we see. And boy, oh boy, maybe even a little dark pink, I think.
Correct.
Maybe.
I mean, the great thing about that, you know, you want to have contrast in your garden when you're doing landscaping. The great thing about the darker colors, if you're going to use like a white rock, something that's a light mulch, and then later if you're going to use a red mulch or a darker mulch, then you want to go into obviously the greener, lighter colors, so you have that contrast.
Absolutely, yeah. But boy, what I love these. They're so rich. They just feel so doggone good.
Yeah.
You know. And then look at this over here. Oh my goodness. Just amazing, 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 amazing color. And look at this, you know, as Roly just said, we plant in groupings of these around, and we formulate, you know, just think if there were white rock underneath there, how these would just pop out and pop out. It's wonderful stuff, great stuff. So Roly, I just looked down. Remember you were talking about the marginated plants. Explain what this one is.
Correct. Before I talk to you about the variegated plant, which is the leaf is white on the inside, green on the outside, and this is the other type I told you, which is called albo marginated, which, as you can see, it's green on the inside and white on the outside. So those are the two different types of variegations that they are in, you know, in the Bromelia foliage.
Great, that's awesome, and that's great information. And also, folks, look at what the plants do for us. See how bright and light this is. You know, as you can see down this way, you know, you can see it from a far distance.
Yeah.
Okay, you can see it from afar, and what the impact it would make. red mulch that a lot of people like in South Florida. Black mulch, which is really, really popular these days, in dark brown.
Yeah.
These just pop out. They just pop out. So.
And the cool thing about these, these are babies, pups that we planted maybe like 2 months ago. They will get around 24 inches wide. And the great thing is when they bloom, they get the red center.
I was going to say, we got to talk about, because boy, oh boy, when these come, that center just starts growing. It's small, and then it just starts growing as the plant gets larger. And it's really, you go, wow, isn't that awesome? So, yes.
Yeah, it's a great variety.
We're going to walk now, and we're going to look at.
You want to talk about the ground cover?
Yeah, we'll talk about the ground cover.
Brought up the Fireball.
Because we're right here. This is a big one called the Fireball, which is very, very, come on over this way, which is very, very popular. This is a ground cover one. As we look, and we can pull this out, look at the pups. There's the mom right here. Yeah. And now all of a sudden, we have a pup that has a pup. Okay, so these will fill areas in. As we said, ground cover. These will also grow up trees. They will do, you can plant these right on a tree, and these things will just make their way up. What a great look that we can provide for somebody.
Yeah. And then there's different types. I have 3 different ones of the minis ground covers that we grow. This was the most popular one. It's called
Let's take a look at this one. This donger is one of my favorite also.
The donger is great because it gives you so amazing color. As you can see, this is the way it starts, and then later on it transforms into this beautiful pink color. And then the third one we have is this one, which is called the Zoe, which is basically a variegated fireball. Let me get these spider webs out of the way. So as you can see, they have variegation in the leaf, and also the leaves are a little bit broader. So these are the 3 different types of varieties of ground cover that I grow that are more popular, that they like to use in a lot of the commercial jobs, and also homeowners love them.
We do. I use them quite a bit in the homeowner situation. So they're great. And then again, boy, here we go.
This is my top seller, John. This is like this bench right here holds around 600 plants. I cleared this thing out like 5 times during Christmas time because it's so popular. They use it a lot because of the red. It's a great plant. It lasts. This is one of the Neoregelias that take probably 5 years to bloom instead of some that are that 2 to 3 year range. And it's a great plant. It's a beautiful red color. It's just an amazing to have nice color in your landscape.
Yeah, let me reiterate what Roly just told us. You know, most of these plants are going to last a couple years, okay? But this is one that's going to keep its color for about 5 years, okay? But it will give us pups. Correct. It will also give us pups. So just realize that we can take those pups, and then now 5 years goes into 10 years, and all of a sudden we go, wow, we've owned the house for 20 years, and we still have a part of our original plant, the babies of it, descendants of that mother plant. So it's a great opportunity to plant something once and then just watch it grow in our landscape.
Now this one's really cool here, John, because I love the name. It's called guacamole.
Me too. I love it too.
Yeah.
And look at the colors, folks. This is it's fantastic.
And it's a great plant. As you can see, it stays this size. It's one of the smaller of the Neoregelias. It pups very well, as you can see here. One of the babies right here, which I'll show you later on how to take it off and the process to plant it. But this is a very popular one also, and it's really cool, but I just love the name.
I like it too. I do it around lunchtime, and it's fantastic, folks.
Yeah.
All right, here's another one. Now we're moving into the full sun bromeliads, okay? You'll notice that, we're still under the shade house, right? And you go, how can that be? How can you tell me that one is shade and one is full sun? Well, there are different qualities of shade claws. And I'm gonna let Roly explain what he does at his operation here.
Yeah, so like you said, John, there's different types of shade claw based on percentages. So where we went into the partial sun area, that's a 50% shade cloth. So that means 50% of the sun comes through. Right. Okay, and obviously 50% of the shade. For my full sun varieties, I grow this shade cloth, which is I installed this shade cloth here, which is a 30% shade cloth. That means 70% of the light comes through.
That's right.
The reason why I do that is here in Florida, as you know, it has the very violent summers that we have. So I like to acclimate the plant to have it prepared, since it's been growing the whole year in a 30% shade and getting that sunlight gradually as the year goes around. When I sell these to the customer during the summertime, it'll be prepared and it won't burn. It'll take the sun. Some nurseries grow it in a 50% all the way through. So if you take it out during the sun, you know, in the summer times, it can burn the leaf, it'll shock the plant, and it just won't survive.
Yeah, no, and thank you for that.
Yeah.
And so I think the point here is it's very important when you see these in nurseries and watch where they're being displayed. Ask questions of the nursery staff to say, is this a full sun or is this a partial sun type of plant? And if they say full sun, say, has it been acclimated now to the full sun? At some of the nurseries, I work at Flamingo Road Nursery, we have an area where once we get them from Roly, we put them underneath the shade cloth again, and then we start moving them out, because again, the sun is in December is right on the equator and it's starting to move itself up. And so this is a great time of year, you know, January, February, March, to get the bromeliads out, get them in the full sun area, and as that sun intensifies, it's going to acclimate themselves.
Yeah,
so
that's correct. That's correct. Now here's another one. This is another popular one for full sun. It's called the Martin, Neoregelia Martin. As you can see, again, variegated leaf. It gets a nice pink, which then later this pink turns into red in the center when it blooms. This is a very popular one. It's very hardy to the sun. I mean, it doesn't even bleach through the summertime. It stays with the true color all year round.
So that Roly just said bleach, and that's a term you're going to hear, because if we take these things out and we put them out in that full South Florida sun, bleaching means that color is going to fade away, and you're going to say, what the heck happened to all my beautiful color? They will fade away. So really acclimate your plants a little bit at a time, set them out there, bring them back in, set them out there, bring them back in, and then plant them in the location where they're going to be.
Yeah, and then as far as the going back to the bleaching also, yes, they do bleach, but then when we start going into November, December, that color will start coming back.
There you go.
You know what I mean? So don't worry about it. As long as the leaves don't burn, that you know it's taking that full sun, it's just very intense. So it fades its color. But then in November, December, and the cooler months, the color will come back as it was during the springtime.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's a great one.
Yeah.
So now let's look at the next grouping of bromeliads.
Yeah, this is a different genus. So the ones we were seeing is the Neoregelia genus. Now this one's called the Bibergias. The Bibergias are more tubular. I grow two types. This one, the pink one called Hallelujah, and the white one's called Casablanca.
Yeah, let's look at the Casablanca. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Great to create some light color in the nursery with a little bit of you know, height to it. We put some other stuff in front of that and allow that to provide some color. But boy, it's just it's endless at the variations that we can get in the landscaping. Wow, Roly, look, I forgot about Fire on Deck, man. We can't forget about Fire on Deck. Yeah. Go ahead and explain a little bit about this
Fire on Deck, I mean, it's obviously a really cool name. It's another popular one we have. I mean, red sells a lot, John. You know what I mean? So when you have this, it's great because it's a red plant, gives you some green, and it takes full sun. You know what I mean? This is an example of one that will fade, as we talked about before. It'll start turning yellowish, but then, like I said, in November, December, it comes back. But this is a great one. It has, cool spotting.
Yeah, I love the spotting. I like the vertical, striping on this, if you will, how it fades out. You look at the original leaf, and then you look at the new leaves coming here, and it's ever changing. So it gives us great variety.
Yeah, and it has the cool red tips, which always are nice.
Yeah.
But this is a great one, and it's a great full sun variety to grow.
That's Fire on Deck.
Fire on Deck.
I love the name. Fire on Deck. And we have Fireball. Go figure. All right, let's go over to the planting house, and we're going to see how to go ahead and take pups off of the mother plant, and we're going to tell you how to do that. This is quite the operation here, isn't it? So now we're getting over to where the planting is done. We look at all of these. Roly now is going to show us, the mother plant and the pup.
Yeah, so this is one of the varieties we saw earlier, which is the Magali. So we just have these here. These are our mother plants that we take off the pups to continue producing, for future. So this is a pup we just took off. So obviously, as you can see, it was attached here to the mother. It has that horseshoe U shape. So all you do when that's attached to the mother, you just move it right forward and then just turn it from left to right and it'll just snap right off. So then now this is very, raw, it's open. So you don't want to plant something like this right away because you have a chance of getting fungus and the plant can rot and it won't make it. So you want to let this sit upright, like in a pot with no soil at all, just upright, put a little water in the center and just leave it there, John, for like 2 or 3 days.
Okay.
Right, so this can go ahead and heal and dry. So then now when you put it in the soil, the chances of it getting fungus in the center is, it brings it down dramatically.
It's like us when we get a cut and we need to let it scab over.
Correct.
Okay, that's really what we're allowing it to do, to scab over, to dry up, to seal, and then we go ahead and can plant it. And go ahead and explain the planting situation. It's really simple.
Yeah, basically, one of my guys just comes here. This is a station he does for the smaller, which is the 6-inch size pots. The bigger stuff, he does it straight at the soil pile. So he'll just come in here. He'll go ahead, put like 3/4 of the soil, get the pup, put it right in the center, hold it down. Then he'll go ahead, put his fertilizer, which unfortunately here I don't have any.
Yes, you do.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. We have some fertilizer, and this is like an Osmocote type fertilizer.
Correct. This is an Osmocote. You want to, so as
do I want the 14, 14, 14?
You want, 14 is good because, okay, so you have the 3 numbers every fertilizer has. Obviously, the first number is the nitrogen.
Right. That's
the most important one for the bromeliads because you don't want to have a high nitrogen number because if not, the leaves will get long and then it won't achieve its color.
Okay.
It'll stay green.
So you don't want a large number.
Right. So then 14 is a good number, but, you don't want to go into the 20s.
Okay.
So as long as you're at 15 or lower, that's good. You don't want to go too low because then it won't be enough, nitrogen for the plant. So I'll go ahead for a 6-inch pot, John. I like to use, I have my little measuring pool, 1 tablespoon.
There we go.
So this is the Osmocote. It's slow release, as you can see here. Okay, so this will last 365 days.
Nice.
So over the next year, it'll start giving it fertilizer little by little, little by little. Okay. I like this for the pups better than the liquid because the liquid fertilizer, it's too direct. So, you don't want to do it. The plant will grow, like I said, too long and leggy. It won't achieve its color.
Yeah, I learned that it was called too hot.
Correct.
It's just too hot, and the plant just explodes,
Correct.
and it's not what we're looking for in the bromeliads.
Correct. So I'll just get this, John. We'll just put the fertilizer around it, get some soil, pack it down.
And there you go. That's from a professional.
And there you go. And
that's from the man, and that's how we do it.
And then that's just ready to go. So that plant, probably in the next, I would say 7 or 8 months, it will have the finished product, which will be the Magali.
5 to 7 months from there to there.
Obviously, in the summer months, it's peak growing season. The plants will grow faster. So now's a good time to plant going into the summer because then that way the plant will grow a lot quicker.
And we do not put them in full sun.
Correct. This will be a partial sun bromeliad, which is that 50-50 shade cloth, which at home, it will be like under a palm tree, some type of filtered light.
Right. Okay. Yeah. There you go. Filtered light, folks.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So, okay, now let's look at some of our larger specimens that we put into the landscape. So we're on our way.
Okay.
So as any grower or any man that's in business, getting the pups is a great free way, if you will, the economy way of getting your new plants. There are also growers out there that specialize in pups. And so Roly here can call up and say, I need 500, of the Magali. And boy, they come. They've already been dried off or scabbed over like we just talked about. Look at how nice and dry they are. So these are now ready to be put into the 3/4 pot of soil, fertilizer around it, and then really pack it in so we get no movement this way. And then, boy, 5 to 6 months down the road, we just, we got the product.
Yeah.
But look at this.
This is a shipment that just came in yesterday from our source that we have in Costa Rica. Obviously, they bring me, monthly, the pups, so like these one, the Magali, like I said, which is very popular. I probably get like 400 of these a month. This one's called the Lila. As you can see, look, this one has some color. It gets that fuchsia color. I get 300 of these a month. So they just come in, and then we just go ahead and plant them. So every month we get a constant cycle of pups.
That's fantastic. Yeah. That's how you do it, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's a lot easier for me.
So where are we going now, Roly?
So now the ones we saw now on those benches are our 6-inch size pots, which is the smallest size I grow. Now we start going here on the ground, which I have the 8-inch size pots all the way up to the 7-gallon, which are those bigger ones back there. That one is a very popular one that's called the Juliet. You know,
We sell so many of those, and it looks so beautiful.
Yeah, we can go
some
up to
people
later.
call that a red imperialis.
Correct.
Okay, so that gives us, and I'll show you the green. We're not we
the
don't,
green. I have the green right here.
Okay, let's take a look.
Yeah. So this one's the green imperialis in a nice 7-gallon size. This is probably around 3.5 feet wide. This will get to around 5 feet wide over time. It'll take years, probably 6 or 7 years, and then it gives a spectacular bloom.
It's just amazing.
Which is the peak of his life.
Yeah, amazing blooms. They get 4 to 5 feet tall. For me, it looks like a pagoda coming out with these white little blooms, petals that come off of the end of them.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
They're really spectacular.
Yeah, unfortunately, that will be the final grand finale.
Yes.
But you enjoyed it for years.
Yeah, you enjoy it for years, and then you get the grand finale, and that bloom is just amazing.
Yeah. So this is what they call the greener version of it. See, it doesn't have any color on top. Right. Then you go here, which is this one, which is called the Julieta, which is a hybrid that was created by crossing the imperialis. And as you can see, it has a nice purple color on top.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, this one's very popular. Actually, sell more of these because people want color.
Yes, they do. Yeah. Color sells.
Oh, yes, it does.
Don't we know?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. But here, as you can see, I have different types. This is a beautiful burgundy one with green speckles called Oster. Takes full sun. So this, as you can see, it's a bigger size pot.
So again, these are all full sun, right?
This area here, everything here we've seen so far, it's full sun.
It's going to take full sun. So just take a look. Larger specimens in the back of the landscape. Other stuff smaller in front. We can get our layered look that we're looking for. The ground cover, the dongers and the fireballs, and then the megalis and stuff like that in the middle, and any and all of these in the background. Yeah. And it's really, really almost maintenance free. Almost maintenance free.
Yeah, it is. I mean, all you basically got to do is just take off that little leaf at the bottom that dries out, and then basically that's it. The main thing with bromeliads is you want to make sure you put them in the right lighting condition, as we discussed. The full sun. Now the full sun can go in a partial sun condition.
There you go.
So so if you like a full sun plant, a bromeliad, and you say, oh man, I got a bunch of palms, you can still put it on there. It'll take up to full sun. And then the other important thing is the watering, John. People have a big problem overwatering bromeliads.
There you go. I wanted to hear that. Go ahead. Talk to me what you think the ideal optimum watering is.
Okay, so it obviously it's by season. So let's say we're the beginning of the year in January. We're in the dry season. So I go ahead here in South Florida. So I go ahead and I put my sprinkler system 3 times a week for half an hour. So I have different zones. I have 24 different zones in the nursery. So every zone will go on for half an hour, shut down, go to the next zone for half an hour. So that will be enough. Sometimes people make the mistake, they're afraid to put, and they put only 10 minutes. 10 minutes is not going to do nothing, especially in the drier season because there's no humidity. So you want to give some moisture to the plant. In the summertime, since it rains so much, I don't even turn on my irrigation system at all because there's so much rain. It rains every other day. It might rain for 10 days straight. So you want to make sure, and that water is always flushing out. So you don't want to give it additional water. And also, the best water is rainwater.
There you go.
Yeah.
And, I have a little thing when people come to me and I sell them bromeliads in order, because you have it and you do 3 times a week for 50 minutes. A lot of people think that is a lot of water for their whole yard. So what I tell people is I want you to get a cup of coffee on Saturday morning and your hose in the other hand. And I want you to take a sip of coffee and turn that hose on in this cup.
Correct.
In the cup. And by the time you swallow that coffee, turn your hose off and go to the next bromeliad, which means about 5 seconds, because all we want is water in the cup and then it cascades over.
Correct.
It will flush the water out. It will regenerize the plant, and the plant says thank you. It loves that.
Well, that's why you don't need so much water, because like you said, John, it holds so much water in the center that there's no need to overwater because it's hydrating always as long as it has that water in there.
Very important is the bromeliads don't need really any water on the ground. No. They need water in their cup only.
Yes.
So it's, as a homeowner, we can just turn the hose on, fill the cup, exchange the water, and be done with it. sometimes 2 to 3 weeks at a time.
Correct.
Right? And so just think of that. You could water the day that you go on vacation, you go on that 5-day cruise, and you come back and everything is good.
Yeah, and one cool thing about bromeliads that we talked about the watering, but one thing is the soil. They don't need soil, John, because so they're epiphytes. They're not terrestrial plants. So they use their roots more for anchoring. So that's why you can do different applications. You can put them on tie them to palm trees, or add that different element in your landscape that people are just used to seeing just on the ground and just plain palms. But you can add that element. So that's the cool thing about bromeliads, that there's different applications you can do to it.
So epiphytic plants, and that means they don't need soil, and those roots are for anchoring on the trees in their natural rainforest. Okay, that's what they do. That's the only. They don't absorb water. They don't absorb nutrients. That's not their purpose of this plant. So one of the interesting things that I find interesting in the bromeliad world is everybody sees that Spanish moss that comes down. That's a bromeliad, folks. That's a bromeliad. That's an epiphytic plant also, and it just needs moisture, spritzing, whatever. But that's
And also, don't forget the pineapple.
Well, everybody
doesn't know that the pineapples are bromeliads.
Pineapples are bromeliads, and again, it flowers. Each plant provides one pineapple. So think about the millions of pineapple plants that are necessary out there. Yes, they give off the pups, and that's how all of these large growers regenerate. So it's great. I love, great fact.
Yeah.
Is this McWilliams?
This is the McWilliams eye, correct? It's great. I mean, it's again a full sun also. This is one of the few Neoregelias that's spineless. A lot of the Neurohelia genuses have little spines on the side, but this is one of the ones that is spineless. And as you can see, this is an example how it gets the red center.
That's beautiful.
Similar to when we talked about the Bossa Nova.
Absolutely.
This one gives you the red center when it blooms. I mean, and look at that red. I mean, it's just a shocking
spectacular for me. And then look at the pups.
Yeah, and then there's an example.
They're out.
And then this is an example of, so the one I showed you, the Magali before, that pup grows close to the mother. This one grows away from the mother. You see how far it is away from
when should we cut those off? Everybody always asks me, when says I have one this size and then I have one this size.
Okay, so this is what I do. What I do, first of all, you want, don't cut too soon and don't cut too late.
Right.
Because as a grower, I want to have a bigger pup, because a bigger pup, a bigger plant. So what I do is, as it's coming up, you see it starts off cone shaped like this and it goes straight up. When it starts to open, see how this one's starting to open?
Yes.
Now at this stage, when it starts to open, maybe I'd say, John, when it gets around a foot across, especially for this variety, that it's a large variety, then we'll cut it off.
So where do you cut?
So I'm going to cut it all the way down here in the base, because I don't want to cut it here and then I have this ugly thing sticking out on the plant.
Okay.
So I'm going to cut it all the way in the base, all the way down here.
Let me look. Okay, so down here.
So all the way down here, as you can see, it attaches down there. So all the way down there. So I'm going to cut it there. But now I'm not going to plant it from there. So I'm going to plant it and I'm going to cut it here.
Right, so we make two cuts.
Correct.
We cut it close to the plant so we don't have an ugly stump.
Correct.
And then when we get ready to plant the pup, we come back in. How far down should we go, Roly?
So right here, as you'll feel, it's like the center, the heart of the plant right there. So you want to go maybe like 1 inch or 2 inches below that. And then cut it right here.
So the heart of the plant. So you're going to have to feel a little bit down there. Right here, it's softer. I hit right in here, and it's a little harder. And then right below, we go 1 inch or 2.
Correct. And then again, like we talked about before, when you cut that pup, you want to let it stand for a little while, let it heal.
Let it heal. Correct. And then we plant.
Correct.
But boy, what a spectacular, right? This is one of my favorites because it's so large.
Yeah.
And it just catches my eye. I just love it.
Yeah. And this one can also climb. We talked about the fireballs, because since it's stoloniferous, meaning that it grows away from the mother plant, this can go ahead, and if it touches the trunk of a tree, it can attach on and it'll go up.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. Yeah. Great tip.
Now back here, John, this is another one that's very popular.
This is probably one of the most populars.
Yeah.
This is the most popular because we look now and we see all of this color.
Correct.
We see all of the color. This takes full sun. You can plant it in partial shade.
Correct.
But look at the color. What is the color? It's gray-green. It has the gray-green, 3 feet tall, 3 feet wide or so, and it just is stately. Yeah. And then all of the color of the other bromeliads really pop out.
And the great thing is also spineless. So as you can see, it starts off when it grows green, but then over time, you see how it develops that white powder.
The white
So that
powder.
color is not the actual foliage. It's a white powder that's called scurf that grows on it as it matures.
See how that goes away?
Yeah, you see how it goes away? Yeah.
I had to wet my finger in order for that to take place.
Yeah.
So even when it rains, this maintains
It
that
stays on.
for a long,
it would have to
while.
be rubbed off, you know. But this is a very popular plant. A lot of commercial jobs use it. A lot of homeowners like to use it like a centerpiece. And like you said, they put the smaller bromeliads around it, depending if it's full sun or partial, depending what the lighting condition is. But this is a great plant. The last year's also gives you the tall stalk bloom because it's the Alcantaria genus, similar to the Imperialis and the Julieta.
So tell me, how long does it take for the odorata here to bloom?
To bloom at this stage, this is already in a 7-gallon size. I say at least 3 or 4 years.
Okay, so it's a longer blooming one.
Yeah.
So this is one that we plant in our landscape, and it's going to last 4 or 5, 6 years before it blooms.
Correct.
And then, because once it blooms, then the mother plant goes away.
Right.
Does this one get pups?
It does get pups. So the odorata gives you pups in its early stages when it's growing, then it gets maybe like a foot tall. And then later on, years later, when it blooms, and it'll give it to you at the bottom. Again, you want to wait till those are maybe like at least a foot tall, cut them off, you know, plant them. But these are very slow growers.
Yes,
It'll take you years, probably at least 2 years from that small pup to get to this size.
There you go.
That's why these are some of the most expensive bromeliads, just because it takes so long to grow.
But boy, the use in the landscape is endless.
Yeah.
And it really gives us kind of an unusual color, if you will. It's all colors of homes can accept this kind of gray-green look.
Yeah.
Love it. It's great. So again, these are all sun bromeliads out here.
Different types, different types of sun bromeliads that we grow. I mean, that one gives you nice color. The Susanna gives you those red tips. This one's really nice. The Yellow Devil. It starts off yellow and then it turns into that pink color.
Beautiful.
There in the center. As you can see, here it is in yellow. And then as it matures, see, it starts off like this. And then as it matures, it turns into that. So sometimes people think those are two different plants, but they're not. They have to understand that bromeliads sometimes get their color as they mature.
There you go. And that's important to be able to ask the person at the nursery, you know, what this plant's going to do for us, or, you know, do some research yourself, or come to John the Plant Guy or Roly at Sunshine Bromeliads, and we'll explain it to you.
Yeah.
Let's take a look on the other side of the driveway over there. Was one of my favorite plants. Let's go take a look at that.
Let me guess, the Skinner eye.
Yeah, exactly. It is the Skinner eye. I love the Skinner eye, and I love the raspberry color that it gives off. I use these in great bunches, you know, in a big display, because man, they're so showy.
Well, you bought me out last year, John. You bought all the ones I had.
I had a lady in Weston, you know, that she loved it also and loved the idea. But look at how big they are, number one. But I love the color.
Yeah.
I love this raspberry reddish color.
Yeah,
it is they're just beautiful. I mean, look at this when we have bunches of them.
Yeah.
Green Island ficus around it, these poking out and just giving us a really good look.
Yeah.
Developments use these. People with larger properties use these a lot just because of the size, you know. Scale is really important. So you notice that we had ground cover, the dongers and the fireballs. Little babies like this, and then all of a sudden we get something that, how tall do these normally get?
These will probably get right around 3.5, probably like 40 inches tall.
Right. About 3.5, 4 feet tall. But man, oh man, for me, you know, so what's the one that everybody sees in the back?
Oh, that one in the orange, that one is called the Ecmia Blanchetiana Orangeade.
Right.
Because there's different types of Blanchetianas. There's the orangeade we see there, the raspberry which we spoke of earlier. And then there's one that's called the lemon lime, which is a yellowish, light green one.
Yeah,
this is the most popular
one. That is the most popular. We see everywhere.
Yeah.
A lot of the larger developments like to put these out there because why? There's very low maintenance. They don't have to do much, and you can see the bloom on it right now.
Oh, the bloom is gorgeous.
Yeah, let's take a walk over there.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can get to it, but maybe we can zoom in on that.
Yeah, 'cause I have
Orlando.
here next to the
And
trash area.
look at the blooms on those.
Yeah.
How beautiful they are.
Now the Skinner has a really cool bloom. Unfortunately, I don't have anything blooming now, but it grows straight up, John. That it looks, actually you can see
There
it
we
here in
go.
the picture.
I love that.
It
Yeah.
looks like a white corn on the cob, as you can see it right there in the picture, and it grows like that. I mean, it's really cool.
They're fantastic.
Yeah.
They're fun. And when they bloom, sometimes they have multiple blooms, right? I mean, they can if you plant these together.
Correct.
And
yeah,
then all of a
off
sudden
the
you
pups,
get off the
Yeah.
pups, and
Yeah.
you get the. I have one in my neighborhood that is just. I looked at that, and there's 4 blooms on this,
Correct.
and it looks like one plant, and then you get closer and you see the pups.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
it's fun.
And the cool thing about this one is that this has a male flower and a female flower.
There we go.
Which a lot of
bromeliads
bromeliads don't do that. So yeah, so then this one has the male flower, which will be this one that looks like the corn on the cob. And then the other one, the female flower, when it comes out, it opens up more and it branches out a little bit more.
Got it.
So,
okay.
so if it's something that, you know, you need to cross obviously one flower with the other one, unless you're doing the natural process of giving the pup.
Got it.
But
Okay.
it's cool because there's a lot of bromeliads that don't have that.
Exactly. No,
it's
most
just a
of them have
unisex,
that
yeah.
one uniflower, and
Correct,
that's it.
Correct.
Is that flower unisexual, where it has both male and female on it, or it just grows from the pup and that's it?
No, the other ones have the male and female.
Okay.
This one obviously, like I said, it has a male and a female, and then, you know, but obviously the easiest thing is to grow pups. You know,
Right.
when you start doing that, it takes a lot longer. When
There
you
you
try
go.
to pollinate, I mean, it's a long process. That's years.
Okay.
And then, you know, as a business owner, it's
Time is money.
Time is money, sir.
Time is money.
Time is money,
Roly,
sir.
I've got to thank you
All right,
for
John.
allowing us to
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
enjoy your beautiful nursery. We love it, and you know, I've been a customer for years here, but I thank you for allowing us to come. And John, the plant guy, is absolutely grateful for you.
Thank you, man. I
and your
appreciate
aunt, which is
Yeah.
she's always. You know, look at her coming. There's Annie right there.
Yeah,
You will always
yeah.
see her there.
That's
and
so
I love
faithful.
that family that's there.
Yeah.
Yes, that family's beautiful.